But at the same time, Michael Penix say he ready.
Day is the man who is responsible for all my joy and happiness as a Falcons fan for the foreseeable future. Atlanta Falcons quarterback Michael Penix Jr. Thank you for joining me today. You are partnered with Invisalign, of course. We are going to talk about that. But first of all, Mike, how's the knee feeling? How's the rehab process going so far?
Yeah, I feel great. I feel like I'm ahead of schedule. I'm doing all the things that I need to do so that I can be back and even better, come next season.
I don't know what they mean. Ahead of schedule, be back before the season. That's all good, bro. Physically. But I need to see you mentally. I need to see you. Can you learn this playbook, this high school offense that Kevin gonna put some dink and dunks and trinkets in there? I need to see, can you learn this offense fast? Because I ain't worried about you getting on the field. I need to see you get in that playbook, in that meeting room, in that quarterback room with the offensive coordinator, Tommy Reese, and Kevin Stefanski sitting back there with his leg crossed. I need you to get in that playbook so you can learn it fast as possible. But like I just said, we gonna see.
How different is your offseason going to look this year? Obviously, you have to spend time rehabbing, but does that mean you spend more time watching film? What strategies are you going to have to kind of implement this year to kind of make up for the fact that you can't do as many physical things as you normally would be able to?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously getting accustomed to the offense, first and foremost, obviously having a new head coach and new coordinator. So just learning the offense and, at the same time, like you said, it's going to be a lot of work on rehab and stuff like that. Make sure that, I am ready to play. But I know whenever the team is back on the field, I will be on the field throwing as well. So I feel like I won't skip a beat in that aspect other than, maybe just some throwing sessions that I usually would get in, in these early stages.
Now you have your first year as a starter under your belt. Now, obviously, we all would have hoped that it was a full season and you hadn't got hurt. But looking back on that season, the games that you did play in before your injury, what are some positives that you take away when you go back and watch that game film? Is there something that you feel like you improved on this past season?
Yeah, I feel like I just kept getting more confident as the season kept going on. Obviously, I only played three games my first year. Just trying to get used to it and. But I feel like just getting confidence each and every game and, just feeling more comfortable in the system and, obviously having to learn a new system now. But, I was getting comfortable and, starting to make I was making a lot of good decisions, I feel like, on the field, taking care of the ball and, putting us in good positions. But, it's always another step to it that, I know I have to, be ready to take this year.
See, that's what I'm talking about. This what ain't... People ain't saying this stuff. He just said he will finally get comfortable. He played 3 games last year. He played how many other games this year? And he was just now getting comfortable. Now you want this man to get comfortable with a new head coach in 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, however long it is. You being to tell me you want a player that's still not comfortable because he ain't played a full season yet. He about to be his 3rd year and ain't played a full season of NFL football yet. And you want him to get comfortable in 6 months, rehabbing a knee, learning a new playbook. He just now got comfortable with the old coach and they fired him. That's my other reason why I think Kirk Cousins still going to be on the team.
So I obviously have to ask the flip side of that question. Is there anything from this past season that you look back on and you're like, damn, I kind of have to do a better job of that in the future?
Yeah, I winning football games. That's what
fair.
It's all about. And whatever my plans and that, I got to make sure I put us in the best positions always and, to allow us to be able to win those games. A lot of our games last year were close games. So just finding ways to win those close games and, it could be this season would have looked totally different. We win one more game.
Yeah, now one of those close games that you just brought up, Week 9 against the Patriots, which I actually think was one of your better games this season, threw for 221 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Obviously, one of those games that unfortunately you guys came up just short in, but That has to be encouraging. Looking back in that game, you're right in it with a Patriots team who is obviously now about to play in the Super Bowl. Does that give you confidence kind of moving forward that you guys can hang with and even beat, like you did the Bills early in the year as well, beat the top teams that the NFL has to offer?
Yeah, for sure. We got the team. We got the team to do it. We just got to figure it out, and bring it all together. Obviously we got new coach staff. High praises on this staff, and definitely, have a lot of confidence in what they're going to help us do this year and, moving forward. So it's like I said, we just got to take that next step and find ways to win those close games, because in the league, it's always going to be close. You're playing great teams each and every week. So we got to find ways to find that edge.
Man, look here. I don't care what kind of staff you putting together, none of that. If they can't develop Michael Penix and get him up to speed, if they cutting Kirk Cousins, if they can't get Michael Penix up to speed and get him playing comfortable and believing in him, it ain't gonna matter what you do at quarterback, because you ain't gonna have no consistent quarterback play. Now you better hope Bijan be the extra superstar that he was this past season. He's gonna have to take it to a whole new level while Michael Penix figuring it out if they not develop him the right way. Now I believe he can do it, but I don't have belief in Kevin. I have belief in Michael Penix that he can develop, because I seen it with Shador had to do it on his own. Kevin teaching him? No. I do not have faith in that. I do not believe in that, because it's 13 quarterbacks, and not now one besides 12 had success. If you want to say Joe Flacco, but he ain't a young quarterback, I'm telling you, man, I won't be optimistic though. I'm gonna be optimistic, but at the same time, you gotta show me otherwise.
Now, I have to ask you a question here that I'm sure you've answered a lot, but I'm obviously curious in this, and it was something that was, kind of talked about a lot this season, is how much you played in pistol. Is that something that you're more comfortable with in shotgun and pistol? Should we expect more play under center moving forward, or are you at your most comfortable when you're in shotgun or in pistol?
Yeah, man, I'm comfortable doing either or. That I just do what I'm told. I do whatever it's called, and and I got to execute whatever it's called at the best of my abilities. But it's no, the whole shotgun under center thing. It's not my call. I go out and run the plays that I'm told to run, and but it's no restrictions or anything like that. I'm comfortable and confident to do either or, and I know that we'll be mixing it up a lot this year, and I'm super excited for it.
Now let's talk about something off the field here, or just before we get into your partnership with Invisalign. I'm always curious when I'm talking to athletes, who controls the aux cord in the locker room for the Falcons? Is it one guy? Do you switch up who has control of the music? How does that work?
But those two guys I can think of.
What about you? If you're in charge of the aux cord, what are you putting on? What's the vibe that you're bringing to the locker room?
Come on, so it's Florida music.
All right, love it. Tell me about your partnership with Invisalign.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. Just for me, I was always, I never really just seen the invisible, my oral so in my teeth, and how it's been great.
All right, Mike, last question for you. Do you have a message for Falcons fans heading into this offseason? Obviously, this is a team that hasn't made the playoffs since 2017. I know this is only your third year, but as a fan base that's kind of desperate to get back to being a contender, what do you say to the Falcon faithful heading into your second full year as a starter?
Man, I'll just say it's going to be a change. It's going to be a flip of the script. We're going to win football games. We're going to get to the postseason, and I have all the confidence in the world in that. We have the team to do it. We have coaching staff that's coming in here that we have high hopes on, and obviously I feel confident in the coaching staff and what they're going to bring. And obviously getting Brick back on the defensive side, and seeing what the defense did last year, for us to have on the offensive side to get a fresh start and just see what we can do on our side of the ball. I know we'll do great things. So once we all playing together, it's going to be electric. But I'm not going to say too much other than that.
All right, Mike, I appreciate
Hey, he right about one thing. They got the team to make the playoff. Now, to me, it's not on the coaches, not on the head coach. It's that defense. Retaining the defensive coordinator gonna put more confidence in a young defense that was dominating and had sparks, and they just got a year better, and now they a year in the same system. If the defense got to hold these teams from scoring points, they got to be dominant, and I think they can be. That's how they gonna have to win. The offense, it's gonna depend on who the quarterback is, and if Michael Penix the quarterback, is he catching it and developing the right way and understanding what's going on? Oh boy, I'm telling you right now, I do not like Kevin, bro. I'm gonna keep saying it, but that's what it's gonna come down to. That's what it's gonna come down to. Can you get consistent quarterback play, no matter who it is? Because Bijan gonna be Bijan. Then you might have to get Drake London, another receiver over there, if you don't re-sign Darnell Mooney or whatever going on over there. You know what I'm saying? And Kyle Pitts. You're gonna have to figure, hopefully they re-sign Kyle Pitts. Because I don't know if Kevin gonna bring the Juku down here, but there could be a possibility too. They let Kyle Pitts walk because he want too much money. They bring in a vet. They pair with Kirk Cousins or Michael Penix, and they ride that way. But like I told y'all, man, they're gonna be an interesting season. So I need y'all to stay with me. Y'all need to like, subscribe, and share. Tell your friend about that Dirty Bird Savage and Money Man you already know over here. Because I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be something to talk about, good or bad.
My savage. Money man in the thing of a T and playing no games. Should I already know my name when I speak NCC flame. Got my YouTube poppin', man. Like, subscribing, everything in between. You already know. Money man. You already know.